The drama surrounding the world of martial arts is as old as the disciplines themselves. For every real fighter who has spent years perfecting their craft, there exists a shadow, a group of individuals who thrive on pretense, putting on a show for the unsuspecting, the impressionable, and sometimes even the brave. These are the fake masters, men and women who wear titles like badges of honor, but carry only illusions. Their confidence is colossal, their bravado unparalleled, yet their skill often evaporates the instant they step into a real fight. What follows is a brutal, unforgiving reality check, a vivid demonstration that in the world of combat, experience always outweighs ego. In South Korea, a self-defense specialist named DKU had built a reputation that drew both admiration and skepticism. Known for his blinding speed and flashy technique, DKU earned a following of fans who marveled at his lightning-quick movements, convinced that they were witnessing the rebirth of Bruce Lee. But speed alone, no matter how impressive on video, is no substitute for the raw, hard-earned power of a professional fighter. Driven by a mix of pride and arrogance, DKU publicly mocked Manny Pacquiao, the legendary boxing champion whose name alone sends shivers through opponents. In doing so, DKU did more than taunt. He invited the inevitable, the blade of humiliation hovering silently above his head. When the fight began, Pacquiao wasted no time demonstrating why he is regarded as one of the greatest fighters in history. DKU's movements, which seemed so impressive in slow-motion training clips, were obliterated under the relentless assault of the Filipino legend. Pacquiao's fists, precise and unyielding, targeted both body and head with ferocity that left DKU scrambling. Each strike was a lesson in humility, each hook a reminder that confidence without substance is a dangerous illusion. The arena witnessed a rapid unraveling of a man who had once fancied himself untouchable, as a supposedly unstoppable DKU was cornered, battered, and ultimately destroyed. The fight did not merely end in a loss. It concluded in public disgrace, a spectacle that confirmed what every seasoned fighter already knew. In real combat, there is no room for imposters. The humiliation of DKU was only the beginning. Across Asia, the stage was set for more fake masters to encounter the harsh truths of reality. Wang Yanlong, another self-proclaimed martial arts genius, selected Mikhail Banchk as his opponent. From the moment the bell rang, Yanlong attempted to dazzle the audience with choreography over competence, his movements designed more for applause than effect. But Banchk, a true fighter with patience and precision, treated the display with a mix of amusement and measured threat. At first, the so-called master's antics seemed harmless, almost comedic. However, the illusion shattered when Banchk shifted gears, revealing the lethal potential that Yanlong had underestimated. Desperation led Yanlong to resort to underhanded tactics, groin strikes, cheap tricks, and desperate attempts to escape the lesson he was clearly unprepared to learn. These attempted shortcuts only fueled Banchk's resolve, transforming the fight into a one-sided demonstration of skill, control, and composure. Within moments, the facade crumbled entirely. Yanlong, outmatched and humiliated, had no choice but to surrender, leaving the arena not as a warrior, but as a cautionary tale, a stark illustration of what awaits those who equate showmanship with mastery. In China, the homeland of countless self-proclaimed martial arts masters, the situation was even more dire. The streets and gyms were filled with performers, charlatans who wore robes, wielded staffs, or carried the aura of ancient traditions, yet lacked any authentic combat ability. Enter Xu Xiaodong, an MMA fighter with a reputation for ferocity and a mission to expose the pretenders for what they truly were. His target was a Shaolin monk impersonator, a man whose arrogance surpassed his skill. When the bell sounded, Xu Xiaodong did not hesitate. He charged like a force of nature, crashing into the man's defenses with the subtlety of a hurricane. The encounter was swift and brutal. The Shaolin pretender, accustomed to posing and demonstrating elaborate routines for admiration, found himself overwhelmed by pure, unrelenting skill. Each strike from Xu Xiaodong was an assertion of reality against fantasy, a physical manifesto declaring that martial arts is not a performance art, but a discipline that demands respect, rigor, and truth. By the fight's end, the monk impersonator lay vanquished, humiliated, and publicly exposed, a victim of his own hubris. Xu Xiaodong's crusade did not stop there. His next opponent was a self-proclaimed Tai Chi master, a man who fancied himself immortal and untouchable. The confidence of the fake master was staggering, bordering on delusional. Yet, as the fight commenced, his imagined invincibility dissolved under the relentless application of skillful, precise combat. Xu Xiaodong's approach was methodical, turning every attempted strike into an opportunity to assert dominance. The Tai Chi master, unable to translate theory into practice, quickly became a living testament to the futility of arrogance without experience. By the conclusion, the self-proclaimed immortal was reduced to a state of humble defeat, forced to meditate in a horizontal position, a physical manifestation of submission, both comical and tragic. Across the world, similar patterns repeated themselves. Another audacious challenger believed he could defeat a professional boxer merely by donning a costume, dressing himself in the iconic garb of Bruce Lee, as if the uniform alone could imbue him with power. Once the fight began, however, it became clear that style cannot replace substance. The would-be Bruce Lee ran in panic, a spectacle of fear and desperation, until he was finally subdued, his imagined mastery evaporating in the harsh light of reality. Even those who specialize in Wing Chun or circus-style martial arts, believing in their own secret techniques or mystical energy, face the same inevitable fate. One young fighter confronted a self-proclaimed Wing Chun master who had relied entirely on theatrics and deception. Every blow delivered by the true fighter chipped away at the false master's confidence, transforming a staged confrontation into a real, merciless lesson. Within minutes, the fake master was sent reeling, humiliated, and forced to confront the absurdity of his claims. Perhaps the most absurd of all were the no-touch masters, individuals who claimed they could defeat opponents using nothing but energy projection or sound. Their belief in supernatural abilities was matched only by their detachment from reality. One such master, convinced he could knock out his opponent without ever landing a single strike, faced a fighter who was determined to dismantle the fantasy entirely. As the fight unfolded, the no-touch master's imagined power disintegrated rapidly under the physical, undeniable proof of real combat. Each strike was a lesson in grounded reality. Each hit a reminder that martial arts, at its core, is about skill, timing, and physical mastery, not illusions and empty words. The encounter ended in decisive, brutal defeat, leaving the no-touch master exposed for what he truly was, a charlatan living in a self-created bubble of imagined prowess. Across continents, the story remained the same. The fake masters, regardless of their discipline, their costumes, or their theatrics, could not withstand the scrutiny of real combat. They were entertainers, not warriors, performers, not practitioners. Every defeat served as a lesson, not merely in fighting, but in humility, truth, and the stark realities that underpin the martial arts world. The narrative of each humiliation, each carefully orchestrated demonstration of skill against pretense, reinforced a timeless truth. Mastery requires effort, dedication, and honesty, while arrogance and pretense are swiftly punished by reality. For audiences watching these encounters, the drama is palpable. There is suspense in seeing whether the fake master will survive even the first exchange, shock at the rapid unraveling of confidence, and ultimately, a mix of satisfaction and awe as the real fighter asserts dominance with skill, precision, and unrelenting control. These are not merely fights. They are theatrical yet brutal stories, where the heroes are defined not by their costumes or proclamations, but by their discipline, experience, and ability to translate training into reality. The spectacle is as much about exposure as it is about entertainment. Fake masters, for all their bravado, provide a mirror reflecting the value of truth in martial arts. Each punch that lands, each technique that fails or succeeds, communicates a fundamental principle. There is no substitute for authentic practice, no shortcut to genuine skill, and no illusion that can withstand the force of reality. The clowns who once mocked legends, donned elaborate outfits, or declared themselves untouchable are reduced to a series of cautionary tales, a parade of lessons in humility that are as instructive as they are entertaining. And yet,